Satnam, aloha. Looks like I'm live. And I just want to check if the video is on. There I am. Awesome. Okay. Turn that off. Okay. So Satnam, aloha. And I want to thank everybody who left encouraging comments after my last live stream. It really helped me regain my optimism and enthusiasm for continuing to spread the message of hope and truth during this time. Okay, so that's on. Okay. And I'm assuming everybody can hear me. Okay. And just leave a message. Okay, there's the comments. So you can put your comment in there, like just say where you're from, whatever you want to share. And I'll just talk about what I want to talk about. So I want to talk about Jupiter, but I want you to know that there's a full moon in Libra this Friday. So if you follow astrology, right, you know this already. And this full moon, the moon is in the shadow pattern of corruption. So this is about bringing up anything that is corrupt in your life. So whatever is out of balance and not in the frequency of who you are becoming, right? You're becoming. This is like the unfoldment of you. And so where you're giving too much and receiving too little, where you're being taken advantage of, right? You'll know where it is because it's been bothering you for quite a while now. This thing, whatever is coming into balance for you, it's taking away your peace of mind, your harmony. And we also have Uranus squaring the full moon at the same time, right? So expect the unexpected. Uranus is the great awakener. It's the liberator, right? It's going to liberate you from this corruption. So you need to be flexible, right? Like the bamboo tree, and move with the winds of change. And these changes are about bringing you back into balance and back into harmony, which is the gift of this pattern. So if you're sensitive to energy, you're probably feeling it already. And maybe you got proactive, right, since the new moon. Made the change before the universe forces you to change, right? The light is a feather method rather than the 2x4 method that I talked about last week. So personally for me, I gave my notice to leave my little cottage here on Hawaii after the last new moon, right? And I had no idea where I would live, right? All I knew was the energy was pushing me to leave. Right? I felt like I was paying way too much money and I was unhappy here for at least a couple of months. Well, yesterday, everything fell into place without any effort on my part. I attracted a private, more affordable, spacious place in a small community of spiritually minded people. And even 3 other little dog friends, all Chihuahua mixes, for my dog Bougie. So it's like that. Right? It's totally like that. That's a good example of this energy. And it's about jumping without really having any strategic plan. It's the place of no mind, right? So it's trusting in the energy, like right, feeling your energy and what's been bothering me, especially for the last couple months. And then trusting your heart, like really listening to your heart, that wisdom in your heart, and know that life will take care of you. Right? So have the experience of that, life taking care of you. It's taking care of each one of us. So Jupiter is in retrograde from April 10th until August 11th. And it's in the shadow pattern of obscurity. It's in the shadow pattern of obscurity until May 15th. So this 11th gene key is very important because it's connected to the galactic center, right? So our solar system has been slowly traveling towards the galactic center for the last 26,000 years. And so this is why 2012 was such a big deal, because it was the first time that planet Earth was like in direct alignment with the galactic center. So the light that's coming from the galactic center is awakening our human DNA, which is speeding up our evolution. And if you're sensitive to energy, you're going to feel this in your body at times, right? It's like your fingers stuck in the electric socket, right? There's something going on. There's an energy transmission, right? This is when you may feel it late at night or really early in the morning, right? At the Amrit Vela hours, you know, the 2.5 hours before sunrise. You can really be sensitive to that energy. So the 11th gene key that I'm talking about, it's all about light, L-I-G-H-T, light. And light's all around us, but it's dormant in a sense because it's hidden within the density of matter at this time. So we're unable to see it because of the shadow of obscurity. And light is what we're all really seeking. Light is constantly seeking itself, but it gets misinterpreted by the mind and the ego. So the ego calls this yearning, because it's a yearning inside us, light, seeking light. The ego calls it love, calls it romantic love, calls it happiness or joy or freedom, calls it a better relationship or better health, more money, security, peace of mind. And these words mean all the same thing, light, L-I-G-H-T. So whatever you are longing for right now, just exchange whatever that word is for the word light. I'm seeking light. That's really what I'm seeking, is light. And even the food we eat, it's the light hidden within the food. That's what we really want. Light is what truly nourishes us as spiritual beings. Light. So the shadow of obscurity keeps us from experiencing the light within each one of us and outside of us, right? So the planet Jupiter is in retrograde in this gene key. So this is big. So any retrograde planet, we get a double dose of that energy, and it makes it extremely potent. So think of Mercury retrograde, right? We get like a double dose of Mercury, and that's like the thinking, the crazy thinking. And that's why mistakes are made, because we're in our minds, right? The brain is just like activated, busy, 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 busy. So we're getting a double dose of Jupiter. And Jupiter, among many other things, represents our beliefs. Right? So I just really want to focus on one aspect of Jupiter, which is our beliefs. So in Vedic astrology, Jupiter represents the Guru. And Guru is not a person, right? Guru is not a person. It's an energy that brings you out of darkness and into the light. It's an energy. So, right? So, and it works through lots of different things, and it can work through a human, right? So Guru's not a human being, a human form. It's an energy that's moving through that human form. So Guru is bringing you out, that Guru energy is bringing you out of the darkness of the ego and the shadow and into the light of the soul. And this is your true self, capital S self. That's the real you. So the shadow of obscurity also represses the right side of our brain. And this is the feminine side of the brain. And our feminine side of the brain sees the whole picture, right? Sees the big picture. And the left brain, right, which we've completely overdeveloped, right? The left brain is totally taken over our planet. This is the masculine side of the brain. And the masculine only sees aspects of the whole. It doesn't see the whole. So our long-held beliefs, they get buried in the unconscious mind and they remain unquestioned, right? So a lot of people on this planet believe that they're free thinkers, right? That they're original thinkers with all of their opinions and their judgments, right? And all you have to do is check out your Facebook news feed or YouTube comments, and you can see it all for yourself, right? Everybody has got a judgment and an opinion, and they think it's theirs, and they came up with it themselves. So I'm going to totally bust the delusional bubble on this, right? Here's the capital T truth. We've all been trained how to think and behave. We have all been taught what to believe. It's a bold statement, right? That we've all been trained how to think and behave, and we've all been taught what to believe. The ego doesn't want to hear that. And it starts right away at birth. So I'm going to take a whack at the institution of religion, because religion is one of the iron pillars of this mass brainwashing of humanity. And I just thought too, you may have seen this on the news, that Notre Dame in Paris is on fire, which is right. I know that there's a lot of love there and has a lot of history. It's like over 800 years old, but it's also a symbol of this institution coming down and crumbling. To look at things symbolically on the planet, this is another way we use the right side of our brain, right? It's an archetype. It holds that archetypal energy, right? And this religion is crumbling. Okay, so religion does a lot of this conditioning, of this mass brainwashing of humanity. So for example, if you were born into a Catholic family, like me, goes back generations, right? Catholicism. You're usually baptized as a baby, true? And the belief is that, okay, now the baby is now under Christ's law, right? So that if the baby physically dies, God forbid, it ensures that the baby goes to heaven. And does that baby have any say? Maybe that baby, as it grows up, says, you know, I'm much more aligned with the religion of Buddhism or Sikhism. Or maybe I don't want to be part of any religion whatsoever. Right? So you don't get to choose to be a Catholic. It's imposed on you. And there's a lot of impositions like that that come upon us. So, right, the imposition of religion comes with a semi-truck filled with what to believe and what not to believe. So now, you know, religion promises us the light, doesn't it? Right? In terms of Christianity, everlasting life in heaven with Jesus and all the other believers, right? Just follow our beliefs without question. And that's a pretty big promise, right? So just as a side note, religion is really believing in someone else's experience of God, the divine. Religion is really believing in someone else's experience of God, the divine. So now in the Aquarian Age, all of this is changing. We can no longer just believe. We must have an experience. Right? We can no longer give our power over to belief. We must have our own direct experience of the divine. And once you have an experience of the light, your own light inside you, no one can argue that away. Right? So if you're stuck in belief, which is really the mind, it's the mental realm, it can be argued back and forth. You see this all the time with religions arguing about my religion's the best. No, mine's the best. By arguing this belief. They're just arguing belief. But no one can argue away your experience. No one can argue away your experience. It's like if you stub your toe and you're feeling pain, it's like, ow, ow. And someone comes over and says, you're not in pain. You're a big fat liar. You can say, no, I am in pain because I feel pain and I'm experiencing pain right now. It's my experience. It's not my belief. It's not about, oh, I believe that my toe is in pain. It's no, I'm experiencing my toe in pain. So beliefs they obscure the light. So beliefs hide the light from you, right? So beliefs obscure the light. They're hiding the light from you. And so here's a good example. I like this example. So look at the size of our sun. So estimates say it would take 1,300,000 Earths to fit inside our sun. That's how big it is. Yet if you go outside, you can put up your thumb and you can hide, right? You can hide the sun from view. It's like the sun disappears. But it doesn't, right? Is the human thumb bigger than the sun? No, that's ridiculous. The sun is still there. So the thumb is like your inherited beliefs that you've inherited from your parents, your ancestors, your culture, your school, your government, your media, your religion, your society, and on and on and on. Right? And it's interesting too, in yogic technology, the thumb represents the ego. And the sun is you, right? The real you, the you within you, your authentic self, the light. So Jupiter retrograde for this time period is telling us, right? And this is from my point of view, right? Little me. Is to go inside and reevaluate each one of your beliefs, especially if it creates fear and separation, right? So each religion and spiritual group, they believe that they're the ones, they're the chosen ones, they're going to save the world. So I've belonged to quite a few spiritual groups and religions over my lifetime so far, so I can attest to this. And it's kind of funny how true this is. It always comes up. So be aware of anyone or any group that's promising you the light, right? Freedom from your suffering, without first embracing your shadow, right? The darkness. And also to have your own direct experience, right? Always pointing you back to yourself. That's the telltale sign of a good spiritual teacher, is they're always pointing you back to yourself. They're not saying, follow me, I have the light, I'm going to show you. That's impossible. They're always pointing you back to you. So, right, so not embracing your shadow, not embracing the darkness within you, that is the shadow of obscurity. So we're going to see more and more of these teachers, right? These groups, these religions popping up all over the place, promising people the light, right? Here's the weekend enlightenment workshops, right? With the cappuccinos, the free cappuccinos that go with it. And then you're done after a weekend. I'm going to see more and more of this because more and more people are going to start seeking, right? Like consciously seeking, because of the meaning. We so lack meaning in our world right now. Meaning and purpose. Right? And religion is like the McDonald's of right, of spirituality. So the power animal is the polar bear that you can see back here. The polar bear. I like using these power animals. I'm a big animal lover myself, so I'm hoping that you are too. We can learn a lot from nature. And thank God they're still around. Like when I tune into it, it's like, oh, the animals have chosen to stay with us as we move. Not all of them, right? Not all the species, but they've chosen to stay, right? As we move into the Aquarian Age and go through this huge shift. So the polar bear represents the awakening of the unconscious mind. Right? So these are all the ancestral memories, the delusions, the phobias, the beliefs, the fears, right? All of that is releasing. So remember that the galactic center that this gene key is aligned with, this galactic center that we're moving towards for the last 26,000 years, this is triggering the awakening of our DNA. So this is about your awakening. So polar bear is a guide between this world, the material world, and the spirit world. So polar bear can show you how to easily move between these two worlds, right? To straddle them, actually, to straddle them. And did you know that their fur, in researching them, that their fur, it's not really white. It's not really white. Their hair is actually transparent. So the white results from the light being refracted through the clear hair strands. I found that really interesting. Another connection to the light, right? Like the gift of light. So polar bear teaches us to be fearless, right? As our unconscious mind awakens. You may be feeling this. Like I've been talking to people here on Maui a little bit, and they're really getting connected to their ancestors, right? And it's just coming up, right? They just start talking about this to me. Oh, I'm feeling the presence of my grandmother. I'm feeling this. I had a dream of my grandmother. This is all part of the unconscious awakening, because in the Aquarian age, the unconscious has to be made conscious, right? So all that shadow has to come up to be transmuted into the light. So the polar bear, right, gives us strength and fierceness. They're the most fierce bear of all the bears, right? Is the polar bear in the face of our shadows. Okay. So people have some comments here, which I'll read in a sec. So I just want to let you know, too, that my Emotional Freedom Program's launching soon. And I may do a little video or a blog to describe the benefits of shadow work in the astral plane, right? The astral plane work. How it benefits your life, your relationships, prosperity, and health, just based on what my own experience and what some people that I've gone through have said, too. Because sometimes I just assume, oh, people know this stuff, but it's good for me too to just get it on paper, right? So remember that we're evolving through our emotional bodies, and emotions are only going to get more and more intense for humanity. So you know, all these extreme weather changes that we're experiencing, they're a reflection of the collective unconscious. Right? So the most powerful technology we have as a humanity is actually inside of us, right? So for instance, like telephones, they represent our ability to communicate telepathically, right? We already have that, but we need to see it in this stage in our evolution. We need to see it outside of ourselves. The internet represents the one mind that we all share. But we have, in terms of our evolution, we need to see it outside of us until we empower ourselves, until we become who we really are. We won't need all this stuff because it's inside of us. So as the solar plexus mutates, it's going through a huge mutation, the emotional wave stops, right? So emotions are a wave. They'll stop. Right? It will no longer move through humanity. So this also means that these crazy weather patterns will stop as well. They're just a reflection of our emotions. So can you imagine a world where people aren't, right, emotions and not reacting from their emotions? I think it will be a world of peace and harmony. So everything that we see out here is just a reflection of humanity and the radical changes that we're all going through, right? So why not participate in your evolution at this time? So check out the 12-week program, and I work closely with you if you feel called. Okay. So I just want to read some comments here for the people that wrote down some things. Okay. Okay, it's good to see Canadians. Hey, Robert Burke. I grew up in Nova Scotia, in Halifax, Nova Scotia. My family's still out there. Good to see the Canadians here. Okay, Puerto Rico, of course. Okay. Yeah, we all have gone NGB, right? We all have done our shopping to find out. It's like Goldilocks, right? Like what's what's correct for us. For me, it's like I have no regrets with the systems and things that I've explored, but I'm very practical. So if it didn't work, it didn't serve a practical function for me, I drop it. You know, I'm not interested in the cappuccino, let's talk about spirituality. It's like, is it going to help me? Is it practical? Then yes, I'll keep it. If no, I'll throw it away. Arizona, yay. In Catherine, I lived in Sedona, Arizona for 2 years. Everybody probably knows about Sedona. Okay. Yes. Family values, yes, as a religion in itself. And hello from Hong Kong. So no questions? Any questions before I sign out here? Okay. Oh, you know what? I wanted to ask you a question, if anybody knows, or that's going to watch in the future too. An alternative to PayPal. If anybody has good experiences with something other than PayPal that can serve the global and not gouge the global community, because I feel like PayPal really is at a balance with that, with the payment options for my programs and stuff. So I'd love to hear people's experience and pick a good one. Okay. Okay, so thank you for joining in, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring the bell so you're notified. And then you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, where I post daily. Okay? And please share the video if you found value. Okay. Satnam Aloha, everybody.